Can you imagine sitting on a hot tin roof in 90 degrees weather when the world is complaining about the coronavirus? Your first thought would be, how could you? But then again, what if that hot tin roof was your home in which you shared with 11 or 12 others? But the reality is, everyone in your neighborhood's rubbish or trash is underneath you or at your doorstep. Most of us have the luxury of throwing away our waste. In some cases, we don't appreciate that our waste is a dinner of food for the day for some. During the pandemic, we sat thinking we were bored and deprived from the things that we normally take for granted. It could have been worse. Thinking back, it's insane to think that we had to be creative to entertain ourselves. Do we not enjoy our own company? Did any of us really think about the much less unfortunate ones out there? What if they didn't have an option? Some don't. But, how could you? And for some, why would you?
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about it at all.
Imagine if you were sleeping yards away from other humans that had all the luxuries that you could only dream of. And then there's American athletes with hundreds of thousands in the bank, and for the most part, millions, feel desperate to play a sport with no fans. Just think about it. It's quite entertaining in itself, isn't it?
Player for 2020 based on average per year.
Okay, that's a little bit funny. People crying over millionaires playing a sport. But how could you? Anyway, most of us don't care to look unless there's a badge of some sort of recognition. Yeah, you know, those badges. You know, those photos taken with the black babies to validate their help. Oftentimes, to display their intentions for attention. No one can question whether or not it's for good intentions or genuine intentions. That's no one's right. But the reality is, does these kids know how much money was raised? How would they know? There's one way they know that someone cares. It's by the person's actions. Such actions like Marcus Isidore. He's showing that he cares. There's no tweets about it or badges that he wants.
$50?
Yeah, 52.
Yeah, we have 52. So that we got 52 we have in lunch today. So that's a good start for the day.
Ben, tu comme ça qui gagne petit le bon. Nini. Yeah. On gagne encore, on connaît. On tourne encore. No. Let's go, Fred.
You know, what are these badge photos for anyway? When the foreigners come and take their badge photos, is it in the benefit of the children? It would be irresponsible not to address the shared occupied island of Hispaniola by the Dominicans and Haitians. There's conflict. There's unnoticed conflict. These children have to fight every day just to exist, whether it's with perverts or their own people. And in some cases, it's a travesty. And it goes unnoticed. Did any of you know about this? How could you? Well, you know now. Mainstream media kept us all informed with statistics and information on how to protect ourselves from the virus.
I describe joy for patients, but also for staff.
On this island, just like the rest of the world, there was panic that came along with the pandemic. These kids, however, managed to flow through the panic. They lived through what we consider the worst possible outcome. Our worst days were still some of their best days. Talking about making the best of everything when you've never had anything. And yet, we still complain.
Bubble boy, you're got the good view of the parking lot. You know what I'm saying?
These boys are not complaining. They have a roof over their head while they sleep on a concrete floor. They're happy to be alive. How could you? Would it be weird if you were watching people crying about their loved ones whom they will eventually see again, but no one cares about your existence? It's insane to think that from birth you know there's no one that cares for you, and you think it's normal. And during this period, while you're reaching your puberty, you don't even know the difference. So what does this say about those that do know the difference? You mean to tell me they were that desperate in need of food? Yep, they lined up in their air-conditioned cars to collect free food.
Arrived as early as 3 hours in advance.
You can hear the desperation in the voice of South Florida residents who have lost their job.
When these kids would eat anything they can get their hands on, including our rubbish. Water, H2O, the one thing that our body requires on a daily basis, and we often take advantage of.
Irish people tried to charge Irish people twice. We have been paying for our water all along in our taxes.
Here's a current situation that no one really pays attention to. These young boys have to resort to scrummaging for water on a daily basis. This bacteria-infested stolen water is used for drinking, washing themselves, as well as washing people's windows for coins. During the summer months in our modern society, we tend to flock to the beaches. This summer was no exception. We did it at all costs.
It's my time to go. It's just my time to go. Okay.
Yep. Why not make the best of what we have? We all know tomorrow is only a theory until we get there. Showers, well, depends on who you are. You may have the luxury of taking more than one per day. But let's not get the ethical part of those luxuries mixed up. It should entitle people to fight over bottled water or toilet paper. Yeah, another funny part. There are some that don't know the difference in having those luxuries.
Free water.
You know, it's just like the electricity, which provides lights. And we do tend to panic if there's no lights. What would any of you do if you were surrounded by light, and in this case, from an adjacent building that wasn't directly over your home? The things we expect in guaranteed comfort, like cool air, aren't we lucky? And at the slightest bit of natural adversity, most of us tend to panic. And our sleepless nights? My gosh, how could you? Pandemic or not, the fear of running out of food or money we really don't have controls us.
Last week, more than 6.5 million people across the country filed for unemployment.
And boy, we can't let that happen, right?
Operation after this scene on Tuesday. People seen pushing and shoving.
Look at these perverts who misuse their money to those who are in desperate need of the coin. Most of us don't care because it's not an inconvenience to our lives. Look at this. The things in life that all of us take for granted. Again, this film isn't about race relations, politics, or social media likes or posts. It most certainly isn't about creating an extended list of excuses so we can bury our shame, tie our tongues of things we choose to neglect. This was about us, humans. How could you? You know, everything in this world will eventually leave you. You'll either let go of it, or it will be taken away from you. But sooner or later, everything will be removed. The choice that our Creator makes about our being is up to the Creator. How could you question, complain, or try to negotiate with the life we have?